There is no name that's greater than your name. God, we're asking you to visit us wherever we may be. God, we thank you for healing. We're declaring healing. We thank you for safety. We're declaring safety. God, we thank you for a sound mind. We're declaring a sound mind. God, we love you. We need you as never before. God, show yourself as never. Do something in us that you've never done before. God, we repent of our sins. We repent of our arrogance. God, we lay it all on you in the name of Jesus. We love you now and forever. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Wherever you at, go ahead and put a praise on that prayer right there. Hallelujah. I want to welcome you to Carey Hill. Join us in our worship. Amen. He is a great God. Amen. Hallelujah. Yes, thank you, Lord. Everybody right there, sing, oh, 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 oh.
God bless you, everyone. Again, thank you so much for worshiping with us in our virtual experience. It is giving time. I hope you are as excited as I am to give back a portion of what the Lord has given unto us. Feel free to visit our website, careyhillchurch.org/giving, or you can give via Givelify, which is a simple app, safe and easy to use. Or you can mail in your gift. No matter how great or small your gift is, please know it's greatly appreciated. It's because of your gift that we're able to do ministry outside of the walls. God bless you.
We just bless the name of Jesus, because the Bible says at the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess. But we know that He knows us. He knows who we are. The Bible says that even before He formed us in our mother's womb, He knew us. So God calls us by our name. He calls us His righteousness. He loves us. Oh, yeah.
God bless you, Carey Hill and friends of Carey Hill. Once again, to God be the glory. We're grateful to gather together in this sacred space called our virtual sanctuary. God has been good to us this week. I pray the same for you. Listen, happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers, mothers-to-be, those who act as spiritual mothers, those that have sowed into someone's life. You are a blessing. The church is better because of you. The world is better because of you. So on today, we honor you. We honor you. Yeah. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. That's Proverbs chapter 31, verse 28. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk briefly from this idea of lessons from Lemuel's mother. In this season, we have honored and recognized our first responders. We've honored and recognized our school teachers. We've honored and recognized those that have been labeled as essential workers. We've honored and recognized those that have left home so that we can stay home. But while studying this text, it began to dawn on me that there are some mothers that can be considered all of the above. Yeah, there's some mother that had to act as a medical official because they were taking care of a baby that was at home sick while they were at home working. There's some mother that had to act as a school teacher or her children's teacher because certain states have closed schools indefinitely. There's some mother that either had to leave home to go to work or she had to work from home. Listen, on today, we honor you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Shout out to Dr. Felicia Lee, my mother. God bless you. Let's look at this text. As we peruse through this pericope, we see a beautiful brother named Lemuel. Lemuel, according to the text, is labeled as King Solomon. Yeah, the Jewish tradition knows him by King Solomon. The text in Proverbs 31 is going to refer to him as Lemuel. You don't believe me? Let's look at Proverbs 31:1. It's at the bottom of your screen. The words of King Lemuel, the strong advice his mother gave him. Yeah, don't miss this, that here you see Lemuel. We know him as King Solomon. And it starts off in chapter 31 by telling us that what he says to us in verses 1 through 9 is advice that his mother gave him. Solomon, understand that he is known as the wisest man in the world. But it's in chapter 31, verses 1 through 9, that we see he gives credence and credit to his mother's words. Hold on. Don't miss this, that I think all of us, if not careful, we can miss this moment. It's not until chapter 31 that we see him quote or give credit, not to something he learned from his father, not to even godly wisdom per se, but he's speaking to us about his mother's wisdom. I think that's a great place to pause because all of us have come to a place in life at one point where we had to remember mama's voice. Yeah, it was the Cherylis who said in 1961, Mama said there would be days like this. There has been a season in all of our lives where we had to recall something that was told to us by our mother, that we didn't hear our father's voice. We didn't even hear our pastor's voice. We heard our mother's voice. It was our mother who told us they were no good. It was our mother who told us those friends that you call friends really aren't your friends. It was your mother who told you that man meant you no good. It was your mother who told you that woman meant you no good, that sometimes God uses a motherly voice disguised in his voice. I need us to understand that all of us at some point in time in life have come to chapter 31 like Solomon, where we had to quote what we heard and what we learned from mother. Don't miss this. This is a mothering moment we see from King Solomon, who's considered to be the wisest man who's ever lived. He's quoting, y'all, not something he heard from scripture, but he's quoting his mama. Don't miss this. As we peruse through this text, I want us to pick up a few things. As you're taking notes, here's the first thing we got to remember. A godly mother's word will always follow you. Don't miss that. A godly mother's word will always follow you. That's at the bottom of the screen. I'll never forget my sophomore year at Albany State University. I'm on the phone with my mother. And y'all, while talking to my mother, I recall telling her, Shelby, that this college thing, it ain't for everybody. Yeah, I remember on the phone doing a research paper, talking to my mother, and I told her this college thing is not for everybody. And my mother told me, you're right, son, college isn't for everybody, but it's for you. Yeah, and then she proceeded to tell me, you have to do what you have to do so that one day you could do what you want to do. I need us to understand that a godly mother's words will always follow you. And somebody can testify that it's in certain seasons of your life that you can recall conversations, recall your mother's voice. If your mother isn't living anymore, that God knows how to drop little echoes of moments to let you still hear godly wisdom through your mom's voice. Let me give you context to the text. Understand, she is speaking to her son from the perspective of promiscuous living. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. Let me get to this. That the text says in verse 3, watch what the text says in verse 3. Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. Don't miss this. Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. Let me help you understand this. A godly woman learns from her past so that she can speak into her children's future. That's so good. A godly woman always learns from her past so that one day she can speak into her children's future. Don't miss this. She is giving her son wisdom from the lifestyle of a promiscuous moment. We don't have children's church, so let me be frank. She says to him that, watch this, if not careful, you can lose your strength if you give yourself too much to a woman. When a man gives himself to a woman, he loses strength afterwards. Yeah, when a husband and wife come together, the next thing they ought to do is just go to sleep. Yeah, they lose strength. She's saying that there is a danger for a king to give himself away to too many women because your strength as a man is gone. Don't miss this. Remember, she's speaking from her past of a promiscuous moment. What do you mean? That she's speaking from her past of a promiscuous moment and then prophesying to her son's future. She's saying that, watch this, the reason why I don't want you to give yourself to too many women is because that's how your daddy almost lost the kingdom. Let me give you context in the text. That Solomon's mother is Bathsheba. You remember Bathsheba from 2 Samuel. She is the one that David saw from the balcony, saw something that he liked, told Bathsheba, come here. As a consequence, he slept with Bathsheba, and a child was born from that circumstance. David was the best friend of Uriah, who Uriah was Bathsheba's husband, but Uriah was one of David's leading captains in his army. Please understand this, that she's saying, if not careful, if you give yourself away to too many women, you'll lose your strength as a man. But she's speaking to her son that is a king. And she understands that your father, who was a king, made the same mistake that if not careful, you will make. Don't miss this. In chapter 1, in verse 1 of Proverbs 31, it says the utterances of his mother. Utterances in the original language is referred to as a prophetic word, that she's speaking to him knowing what could possibly happen if you don't heed the wisdom. This is before Solomon gets to 700 wives and the 300 concubines. She's saying to him, if you're not careful, you'll give yourself away too much and the strength of a king will leave you. She's speaking from somebody who's been married to a king and is raising a king. Don't miss this. That she's saying, if not careful, the strength of a king will leave you. It was this scandal that almost tore up the kingdom of his daddy David. She was probably telling Solomon that you had a brother one day and the Lord had to get rid of him because he couldn't let evidence of that scandal be in the kingdom. No wonder she's giving him evidence, and no wonder she's giving him counsel from how she used to live. She's giving him wisdom from her own experience. She's suggesting that, watch this, this is what almost took your daddy out. Heed my words. I wonder if a mother can speak life to her son. Don't say he's like his no good daddy. Let him know he's going to be better than his daddy. Even if he has a good daddy, speak life into him. Say, you're going to be better than your father. No wonder. She says, heed my words. Heed my words. Don't be in competition with your daughter. Celebrate your daughter. Let her know that, watch this, you're going to need more brains than beauty because beauty will fade. That there's something to be said when a mother learns from her past
so she can speak to her children's future. Don't miss this. Watch what the text says in 31 verse 8 and 9. The Message version says, speak up for the people who have no voice, for the rights of all the down and outers. Speak out for justice. Stand up for the poor and the destitute. Y'all, I started thinking when I read this, Lord, who does this sound like? Who does this sound like? Speak up for the destitute. Cry out for justice. Who does this sound like? Come here, Coretta Scott King, who was like Bathsheba. She was married to a king and she raised a king. Let me talk to Coretta for a moment. That it is her who says, and I quote, it doesn't matter how strong your opinions are. If you don't use your power for positive change, you are indeed part of the problem. Lord, have mercy. A godly woman raises her children to not just have a voice, but to know the reason for the voice. I join in with many in the nation on Mother's Day on today in grieving and praying for mothers that have lost their children, whether it be to the judicial system and injustices that have taken place or to senseless violence. Especially in this season, I want to lift up the mother of Ahmaud Arbery. This is a moment that, watch this, elected officials in the state of Georgia, clergymen and women in the state of Georgia, as well as those that have influence for the right causes of life, should be hand in hand, bringing, watch this, a loud voice to circumstances. Don't miss this. It is Peter Rollins, the author of the book called Insurrection, who says a preacher doesn't have the right to espouse concepts for which he or she has no convictions. I'll say that again, that a preacher doesn't have the right to espouse concepts from which he or she has no convictions. Lest I be a man of God, I believe that justice shall prevail on this side or the next. That Solomon's mother tells him, speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. Solomon's mother tells him, cry out for justice. It's something to be said when a woman knows how to tell a man how to be a man. It's something to be said when a woman, a godly woman, knows the virtues, the characteristics that should, watch this, bespeak a man. Remember, she was married to a king. As a consequence, God afforded her the privilege of raising a king. You have no idea the responsibility that God has put on you, woman of God. Even if you don't have children of your own, he's still giving you a voice. He's still giving you influence. He's still giving you the opportunity to speak life to someone's dead situation. That what are you speaking up for? Understand, watch how the text shifts. In verses 1 through 9 is here we see the wisdom of Solomon's mother speaking. That's verses 1 through 9. Now we see, as the text transitions, now we see the wisdom of Solomon towards women. In verses 1 through 9, we get the wisdom of his mother. Don't miss this. But after verse 9, we get the wisdom of Solomon towards women. Now we see, as Solomon speaks, he says, let me tell you what my mother taught me. First, we see what his mother is teaching him. Then he says, now let me give you wisdom from what I've been taught. He raises the question in verse 10. He says, who can find a virtuous wife? Don't miss this. Who can find a virtuous wife? That's the first question that Solomon raises in Proverbs 31. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. Understand who's speaking. It is Solomon. And he asked the question, who can find a virtuous wife? Hold on, Cal. He asked the question, who can find a virtuous wife? But at this particular time of the text, he has 700 wives. He asked the question, who can find a virtuous wife? But at this particular time of the text, he got 700 wives, Tyreek. Not just 700 wives, but 300 concubines. I'm tripping because there's only 365 days in 1 year. He has 700 wives and 300 concubines. And he asked the question in verse 10, who can find a virtuous wife? Understand that he asked who can find a virtuous wife, not who can find a wife, not who can find a good wife, not who can find a fine wife, but he says who can find a virtuous wife. Understand the word virtuous in its original language, it means excellent. If you're a single woman, watch me, please understand that you are not to be discovered, that you are to be discovered, not selected. Don't miss that. If you're a single woman, understand you are to be discovered, not selected. There is a difference. Notice what he says. He says she is more valuable than rubies. Yeah, I know that in this cultural conundrum we live in, that diamonds are a woman's best friend. Yeah, but can I suggest to you that rubies are a husband's best friend? Yeah, that the text doesn't say she is more precious or more valuable than diamonds. The text says she is more valuable than rubies. Please don't miss this. That understand rubies are more rare than diamonds. Rubies are also more valuable than diamonds. This is why you don't see rubies on everyone's hand. If someone were to wear rubies on their hand instead of diamonds, please believe they spent more on the ruby than you would a diamond. Rubies are more precious. They're more rare. They're more valuable than diamonds. I need you to understand that a virtuous woman is more precious than diamonds. A virtuous woman is more precious than rubies. There's something to be said about her value. Remember, you are to be discovered, not selected. And too many allow themselves to be selected out of the group. No, you are to be discovered. Understand, Proverbs 31, verse 11 through 12 says her husband trusts her with all his heart, and he does not lack anything good. She helps him, never harms him all the days of her life. I don't care how late he is on child support. Please don't get out of character. Yeah, that she helps him, never hurts him. Yeah. Tells us, watch this, she's more than the average woman. Can I ask a question? We don't have children's church, but I'm going to ask it anyway. With the exception of good sex, what can you offer a man? Yeah. Can I ask that question? With the exception of good sex, what can you offer a man? What's your credit report? Yeah. Do you have any educational value? Yeah. What is your temperament? Yeah. Are you clean? Yeah. How do you conduct yourself in public? Yeah. How do you keep your house? Do you have your own time? What do you bring to the table? Outside of good sex, what can you offer a man? Yeah. We might as well cut across the field, Cal. Verse 13 through 24 tells us she was more than a wife. She was more than a mother. But she was excellent in life. Don't miss that. That she's a virtuous wife, a virtuous woman, but verse 13 through 24 tells us she was more than a wife, more than a mother. I want to help some brother. Please don't limit your woman to just being a wife and a mother. Please don't limit. It's your responsibility to make sure every dream and goal God put on the inside of her, you bring to fruition. That she was more than just a wife and more than a mother. She was a woman of excellence. It's verses 13 through 24 that you will discover she was a farmer. She was a philanthropist. She was a manufacturer. She was an importer. She was a manager. She was a realtor. She was a seamstress. She was, watch this, a merchant. And her strength and dignity did not come from her amazing achievements. However, they came from how she lived life. I need us to understand, because watch this, because of who she is out there, she receives honor in her own home. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. This is too good. Because of who she is out there in the streets, she received honor at home. Lord, have mercy. And I need you to understand, don't miss the honor that's due to you at home because of how you conduct yourself out of the streets. The text says her husband can trust her. The text says that she kept her husband's secrets. The text says that she honored her children. The text says, watch what it says in verse 31. Verse 28, rather, chapter 31, her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. Hold on. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. Remember, I told you that she receives honor at home because of who she is out there. In other words, the kids are saying, who my mama is in the streets is who she is in the house. The husband is saying, who my wife is in the streets is who my wife is at home. That in other words, you're not one way here and another way there. That I can trust your integrity wherever you go. The kids honor her because they're saying, my mama don't cuss at home and she don't cuss in the street. The kids honor her because they said, my mama don't get drunk at home and she don't get drunk in the street. The husband honor her saying that my wife honors me at home and she honors me at work in the street. That my wife knows how to speak to me at home and my wife knows how to speak of my name in the streets. That there's something to be said when honor is due at the house because of how you handle yourself in the street. I wonder what man is borderline convicted because he just has a good woman, not a virtuous woman. I wonder what man is borderline concerned because he just got a fine wife, not a virtuous wife. Yeah, he got a woman that's fine, that can do it all, but she calls him out of his name at home. Yeah, I wonder what son, what daughter has a good mother but not a virtuous mother. Yeah, she goes to work. She makes sure that the bills are paid or the lights are on. Or she's a single mother, but she does not speak life into her children. I wonder what child is saying that I got a pretty mama, not a virtuous mama. That she spend more time out in the club than she does helping me with homework. I wonder what household can say I got a virtuous wife or a virtuous mom. Yeah. Let me cut across the field. I sense trouble coming, Cal. Proverbs 31:31 says something that we got to hold on to. Don't miss this. Watch what the text says in Proverbs 31:31. This is going to bless you. This is going to bless you. Watch what the text says. The text says, honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Last thing, if you're taking notes, I want you to hear this. Honor her appropriately. Lord, have mercy. Cal, we can go off that if we don't do anything on Mother's Day, honor her appropriately. The text says that, watch this, that her hands have done something. Let her works bring her praise at the city gate. That she's lived a life as such that deserves honor. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm not just talking to women that have birthed children, but I'm talking to women that have labored in love in their community. Women that have labored in love in their church. Women that have labored in love in their homes. Some women, you've been raising your nieces and nephews. You've been raising your siblings. You've been raising your cousins. Some woman, you took care of someone else's child. He had a baby before he met you, and you raise him as if he's your own. Can I suggest to you, honor is due to you on today? Honor is due to you on today. I'm talking to the mother who the last 8 weeks you've been ready to pull your hair out because you've been raising your kids and teaching someone else's child. I'm talking to the mother that's been balancing, cooking, cleaning, working, being a wife to your husband, being a mother to your children, being a sister to your siblings, and being a daughter to your own mother. Yeah, honor is due to you on today. I'm talking to the mother who put her dreams on a hold so her children can go to school. I'm talking to the mother who put her dreams on hold so her husband can get the business off the ground. Yeah. Honor is due to you on today. If nobody honors you, honor is due to you today. Come here. I'm reminded of Jesus, who, if nobody honored his mother Mary, he honored her. Yes. Yeah. Jesus painted the picture. Jesus showed us the model. Before he left, he tells his brother, behold your mother. Yeah, honor her. Honor her. Honor her. Understand this. Not only are we going to honor the mothers, but can I suggest to you, honor that woman in your life who's poured into you, that Sunday school teacher, that school teacher, that mentor that saw something in you. To God be the glory. Yeah, to God be the glory. Not only did they sacrifice for you, but can I tell you what's greater than a mother's sacrifice? The sacrifice of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, on Calvary. Yeah, I know a mother's love is great. Don't get it twisted. That's the closest thing we can really put in perspective about the capacity to love is a mother's love. But the reality is there's a love that's greater. Yes. No greater love than this, than a man who will lay down his life for his friends. That's the love of Jesus. If there's anybody on today who's saying, you know what? I know my mother, but I don't know Jesus. I got a relationship with my mother, but I don't have a relationship with Jesus. I want to offer him to you on today. Would you simply declare that you know he has died on the cross for your sin? Oh, yes. He rose again. He was buried and he rose again. And he is now seated at the right hand of the Father. And he is interceding on yours and my behalf. Thank you, Lord. Praying for you and I right now as we speak. Just in case you had a mother that never prayed for you, Jesus is praying for you right now as we speak. I'm praying in this season that mother-daughter relationships be restored. I'm praying in this season that mother-son relationships be restored. For the mother who's brokenhearted because her son has been incarcerated, praying for that relationship. For the mother who's been brokenhearted because maybe the son doesn't call like he used to, praying that relationship be restored. For the mother who's worried about her daughter in that strange relationship, praying that relationships be restored. It's never too late. It's never too late. If God can reconcile us back to himself, then he can surely reconcile relationships here on earth. To the mothers of Carey Hill, we honor you on today. To the friends of Carey Hill, who are mothers, we honor you on today. God bless you. We're praying with you. Stay safe. Till the next time. God bless you.